Hello,
Hi.
YouTube.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
I am Sunny
And I'm Andre Vicey. I mean, why you gotta do it like that? So
because I
sad,
don't
so
know. He
sad.
don't know why he always do this when the camera come on. I am Andre Bicey.
I'm just suggesting. I'm just being me. Why can't I just express myself? Maybe I just like, you know, maybe I'm just checking myself, so making sure I'm okay.
Anyway, so
Really, you just gonna do me like that?
so we just wanted to make a little video today.
Mhm.
So yeah, cause it's Valentine's Day,
Yeah,
so
it's
we
Valentine's weekend,
yay.
celebrating. Yeah, it's the good old holiday of love and
Of
everything.
love, amor.
Aww, and it's definitely it's one of those holidays that reminds you exactly where you're at. If you're in a nice, blissful, beautiful, meaningful relationship, you're just reaffirmed of just how wonderful and beautiful that relationship is.
Mhm.
But
If
if
you're
you
not in
don't,
a relationship, then you're reminded of how alone you are and how you have nobody and how everybody else got somebody. So, I think it's just very important to appreciate wherever you are
hmm
in your journey right now, whether you're single, whether you're married, divorced, trying to get back out there, or just trying to get back to a sense of self.
hmm
Maybe you've just suffered a breakup or something like that. Wherever you are, you need to appreciate that place because it's a reason why you're there. You're there to learn something.
hmm
A lot of times in our single season, we find ourselves going like this
Yeah.
in relationships. And the reason why we keep going in circles is because obviously somewhere in this process of learning, we're missing something.
Yeah.
So we have to keep going back over it until we learn the lesson. Once we learn the lesson, that's when your path starts to straighten out and then you head on to the next junction.
But a lot of people, I'm sure, would say, "But I'm so lonely. I want to be with someone. How do I get to the point where I'm happy in my singleness stage and the various things that I'm going through?" Because I know a lot of people who I basically call serial monogamists. They go from relationship to relationship after relationship, making the same mistakes, doing the same thing that they've done before, and like you said, like a same circle, going at it over and over again and doing the same thing. So, what are some things that you can tell them to help them maybe appreciate where they're at and not repeat the same mistakes that they've done?
You have to realize that um, something good is coming for you too. That's your hope. Hope, the function of hope is it's meant to keep you going in tough times. A lot of
Mhm.
times people find themselves going in circles because they have no hope. They don't think that they are going to get any better or that they deserve better. So they're going to stick with who they're with now, even though they're not being fulfilled, or they're just going to feel sorry for themselves for not having anybody.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. Like, you have to stop searching for a body,
Yeah.
anybody,
Yeah.
everybody,
Mhm.
somebody.
Yeah.
No, there's one person that has been specially made for you, and you have to have faith in them that they're out there. You have to believe that they're there. You have to, in my case, I had to trust God that you were there, even though I
Mhm.
didn't know who you were. I didn't know
Yeah.
when you were coming, and a lot of times the world will make you feel foolish for having a belief like that.
Yeah.
That you are praying for somebody that you can't see, that you
Mhm.
don't know. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I had to do for him.
Yeah.
I had to pray for him. I had to pray for his spirit. I had prayed that he stayed strong because if I was running into counterfeits and fools and folks, I can only
Mhm.
imagine the type of people he was running into. And we may handle these interactions differently, but still, I wanted to make sure that he knew that in the spirit I was there
Yeah.
and I was waiting for him and I was yearning for him and preparing for him and things of that sort.
One thing that people don't understand is a lot of people see us together or they'll see us on Facebook or things of that nature, and they'll say, "Wow, you guys seem so happy that you guys seem like you have such a great and wonderful relationship." But a lot of people don't understand what it took to get there,
Mhm.
especially you in your single period. Like, tell them a little bit about how long you were single and what that process was like, because it's not like she was, "Oh, I'm single, but in the meantime I'm seeing this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy." It was,
Mhm.
no, I'm single and I'm waiting and I'm making sure that I'm going to get into the right situation because I'm building and going somewhere.
Mhm. Um, I was actually single for 6 years. I got into a relationship really young at like 16, and I was in that relationship for 6 years, and it was, it started off good,
Mhm.
because I was under that illusion, because I wasn't taught any real lessons about relationships. So in my mind, it was going along okay.
Mhm.
But then it ended very ugly. The person I was with actually cheated on me for 3 years of our 6 year relationship. So it ended up really ugly. And so after that, I had to try to recoup from that, which I never did. And it only led on a path of broken relationships and associations and um, very hurtful interactions and things like that. But yeah, that was 6 years I was single. 6 years of hard lessons learned. 6 years of being taught. 6 years of being placed in a position to learn. 6 years of breaking down what was previously enslaving my mind from this past relationship. 6 years of getting that residue off of my spirit and out of my thoughts so that God would have a good place to plant seeds of new ways of thinking and perspective. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of, I have learned too to stop looking at people's glory
Mhm.
without wanting to know their story first.
Mhm.
Because if you know a person's story first, then you understand the glory at the end.
Yeah.
People assume that, oh, their relationship, it just magically came together.
Mhm.
But people don't know about how much we individually had to suffer. The things that, that we had to learn in these interactions with other people. I was hurt a lot. I was, depressed and hurt, and I felt hopeless, and with all of these, negative interactions with men, and I had to, I had very low self-esteem, and so I had to get over that, and
Mhm.
God had to start teaching me how to be a lady and all this other stuff. That took years to do. Like that
Mhm.
didn't happen overnight. So yeah, that's some, and those are some of the struggles that I was going through, and I was just looking down, and I was just thinking like, this is my journal here, and I was just thinking about an entry that I had made to my children. I don't have any kids, but this is the type of faith that I'm talking about. Like I dedicated, this entry to my children, and they're not even born yet. And in the entry, I say, I'm working hard every day so that everything will be right and in order when we finally meet. Your father and I, even though I have not met him yet either, will make sure that you are always loved and taken care of. I did this on February 13th of 2011. I met Andre in 2012. So that's what I'm talking about. You have to have faith in your own future to know that where you are at presently is not where you're destined to be later
Mhm.
on. So I had to learn how to search God for him, search God for his spirit. And you know, I began to feel it as the process of learning went on. I began to feel Andre in the spirit. I began to feel that he was very close to me. I
Mhm.
just didn't know where he was, and I didn't know when he was going to show up. But I could feel him, and I honestly believe that I could do that because I had faith that
Mhm.
you existed.
Yeah. Now, how did you know that you were ready? Because what happens oftentimes is people get into these relationships and they try to go far beyond what they're ready for, what they are really ready to step into and walk into. A lot of times, a lot people just want to be with someone and they just want to have someone to hold and just be there to comfort them through the good times and all of that. And when things aren't going the best, but at the same time, they're not ready for a relationship. They're not ready to be married. But I just want to be married, but you're not ready. I want to have kids. You're not ready to have kids and all this stuff. How did you know you were ready? Me personally, I can speak to. I was in different relationships, and one thing, and I learned things from every relationship I've been in, be it good, bad, whether it ended properly or it ended horribly. I learned something throughout the process. But one thing for me that made me know I was ready was I naturally did things that I normally would not do. That people had, it was like pulling teeth to get me to do. I did those things for her naturally, like it was nothing at all. I I stepped out of my comfort zone more. Things that were so uncomfortable that I didn't want to do, for whatever reason. I did it naturally without even thinking, with no hesitation. I just naturally stepped up and did those particular things. So that let me know, like, this is a special person, and I'm in a different place than I was, when I was in, other relationships. So, what about you? What made you know?
I knew I was ready when I started um, fulfilling the individual plan that God had for my life, and not worrying about the somebody else.
Mhm.
God had put me in a position to whereas He told me to go to school. So I went back to school and started working towards my master's degree. Once I really started to become focused on that and not so much on who wasn't calling me, I ain't getting no text messages, I don't have nowhere to go. Once I really started working in
Mhm.
the fields, so to speak, because I think about Ruth.
Yeah.
That whole thing about Ruth, and Ruth was working
Mhm.
in the field,
Yeah.
and Boaz noticed that she was working in the field. Once I really just started working in the field, and I realized that, it wasn't to distract myself, it was really to achieve,
Yeah.
and I started to become happy with that. That's kind of when I knew that I was becoming ready because I was more focused. Before, I was like, well, what about him? Why ain't nobody calling me? I don't got nothing to
Mhm.
do. And I wasn't in school at the time. I had a lot
Yeah.
of time on my hands. And so that's why God told me to go back to school, because you got too much time on your hands. And with all this time, you're thinking about the wrong stuff. Don't
Yeah.
think about a man. You have a master's degree to get. You have a
Mhm.
purpose to fulfill. You have people that you need to help. You can't worry about a man right now. So once
Mhm.
I started really being about what God wanted me to do for me,
Mhm.
then I knew I was kind of ready, because God started to teach me, like, you cannot have a plan with someone else if your plans are left undone.
Yeah.
You have to finish what you have to do first. Go to school, get that degree.
Yeah.
And after I got my, like, closer to the end of my master's program, that's when Andre came along. And I really
Mhm.
think if he came along any sooner than that, those plans would have been, I would have threw them to the wayside.
Mhm.
I would have been very easily distracted, and my focus would have been shifted.
Yeah.
So I think Andre, I mean, God knows what He's doing. He knows who to bring in your life at the right time, because we ask for things that we're not ready for, and we have all of these things in our hand. As soon as a man comes, we drop them all. We drop our
Mhm.
kids. We drop our plans to move to a different state. Now we're
Mhm.
not going to go to school. We're not
Yeah.
going to take this job. So a lot of times people come after so that you can do what you're meant to do as an individual.
Yeah. Very well. Uh, it's so amazing how people get so caught up and will, like you said, drop everything for someone else when
Hmm.
they're not ready, when they're not prepared, and you have to be confident in yourself and the plan that God has for you, the things that you're working towards, the things that you need to achieve, and make sure that you're fulfilling that.
Right.
Because beyond anything, you're building towards your lives meshing toward each other, to
Right.
where I can see building a life with this person, and I can see how I am with my family, how they are with their family,
Hmm.
and the things that I want to achieve and the things that she wants to achieve, that it works together and that our lives can become one, because that's what you're doing. You're giving up the eyes for us.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you're ready and prepared and always building towards, getting rid of the eyes and making sure that it becomes us.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap up the video now, but we just wanted to make this to kind of, speak to people everywhere, no
Yeah.
matter what stage of life you're in.
Mhm.
So thank you for sitting down and watching our video. Please subscribe to my channel, and we'll be posting some more stuff soon. So enjoy your Valentine's Day love weekend, and we will see you soon.
All right. Oh,
Bye.
and if you have any questions, any topics you would like us to discuss, make sure you leave it in the comments below. All right. Take care, guys. Peace.